Hey there, GlamFam. Linwood here with my bourgeois iced coffee, and today we're going to be talking about summer hair care and things along that line while I sit on my porch lazily because I don't like to edit. Ew. I mean, honestly, for real though, y'all, like, editing is the literal worst. Like, it's the bane of my existence. I've become so lazy due to COVID, Devontae Jones, the 19th, just running in the mix. I just still feel like I'm not about to shave for this. Ain't about to be no fancy lighting for this. Ain't about to be no editing software for this. We just gonna film some clips, slap it together, and call it a day because you need the information. Anyway, I've wasted enough of your time. It is summertime. And honestly, when it comes down to it, I feel like there's a lot of tips that people could use to be able to help their hair flourish and grow and all of that through the summer. So first of all, if you find that you sweat quite a bit in your head, things like that, you may want to go ahead and start cleansing a bit more often. And you also want to keep in mind that that sweat is going to be drying to your hair. Rinse it out, and that way you're not having the issues with it being drying or with your scalp being itchy and you scratching and causing breakage to the hair. Due to the fact that the humidity tends to be a bit higher in the summer, honestly, I really wouldn't recommend as much heat styling, things like that. Opt for more heat-free or low-heat styles like wet sets, rod sets, twist outs, things like that, or even wash and goes. Heck, it's the summer. You can even do a ponytail or a puff as long as it's not too tight, and be able to flourish with that as well. If you're planning on swimming this summer, especially in chlorinated water, there's a few things we got to talk about, boo. For instance, like, chlorine is rather drying, and so a lot of times people will have issues with the chlorine drying their hair out, causing issues with breakage, things like that, and they really don't know what to do. So I'm going to give you 2 power tips to help you out with it. The first power tip is that you can go ahead and just coat your hair in something like petroleum or grease, and that way it helps to prevent chlorinated water from being able to get into the hair. There's also another method if you don't like that one. The second method is to soak your hair in as much regular water as possible prior to getting in chlorinated water. The thought process here is that your hair can absorb as much moisture as possible, so that way when you get into a pool, it's not able to absorb as much of that chlorinated water and thereby dry your hair out and cause more issues in the long run. In either instance, after you finish swimming, you need to rinse and lightly shampoo and condition that hair afterwards, and that way you're able to get the chlorine and things like that out of your hair. If you've noticed that you've been swimming and things like that and you're having issues with long-term dryness or with buildup, things like that in hair afterwards, you probably want to use a clarifying shampoo and immediately follow by deep conditioning with moisture back into that hair. As with every other quarter, if you have not trimmed your hair, I would highly suggest doing so. You want to do so typically at least once every 3 months or so. Most heads of hair cannot go that long without trimming. So if you haven't done it in over 3 months, it's time for a trim. If your hair is color treated and you're planning on being out in the sun, you want to make sure you're using products that either have UVA and UVB protection in them, or you want to go ahead and make sure your hair is covered with a hat, a scarf, something along that line to help give protection from the sun and prevent your hair from fading out due to the exposure to the sun. Honestly, it's a good practice to have in general, but especially so if your hair is color treated, just to prevent your color from fading. Remember, it's hot and the sun is going to be doing quite a bit of evaporation of moisture, things like that, especially if you're sweating. Make sure that you are deep conditioning pretty frequently, especially with moisture. If you have been using a lot of heat, especially through the past quarter, make sure that you're going ahead and doing protein as well. Of course, even though we're talking about hair this time, keep in mind with your skin when you're out in the sun, making sure that you're wearing sunscreen, things like that. The sun can be one of the #1 causes of not only aging from UVA rays, but also from burning from UVB rays, and eventually skin cancer if you're continually out without any type of sunscreen or protection from the sun on that skin, to include clothing that helps out with blocking the sun from direct access to your skin. So even though we're talking about hair, that's important too. At any rate, I'm going to go inside and see if I can go ahead and do something with this face because I look like no one loves me. And I hope that you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, God bless, and stay glam. You know I love you, boo. Bye.